Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to Rimworld with me, Bradham73. Rimworld is a kind of like an indie game. Uh, it's being programmed by a guy named Tynan Sylvester in conjunction with Ludion Studios. I'm not sure if they're kind of one and the same, or if like he started Ludion, or if Ludion. I don't know how. I don't know all the details about that, but. Um, This is as you can see right here, this is a pre-alpha build. So we're not even in alpha. We're in like, I just made a game in a day phase kind of thing. So it's really, really early. We actually have access to like their official wiki, forums, his Twitter, the design book, credits, man. Um, but basically, this is a kind of like a survival game. It's a top-down, somewhat of a strategy game, and basically you start out with three characters, and you have to use them to gather resources and keep them alive while fighting off droves of unfriendly raiders. So let's actually get started. We'll go and start with a new colony. Now here we have different AI storyteller modes. From what I can tell, there's not really a huge difference between these, but let's go through them really quick. We've got the Chill Cali Classic, which is a less aggressive version of her sister Cassandra, which is the next one. And if you're just starting out, this is probably the best game mode to start in because there's not going to be too much action, and you'll kind of be able to learn, how to, uh, uh, use your resources and build and things like that. Um, Cassandra Classic is it kind of creates a story, but as the game progresses, it gets worse. It gets more and more difficult. I won't say worse and worse. It gets more and more difficult. Um, let's see. Next, we have the Tough Cassandra Classic, which is it's getting the difficulty curve is getting higher. Phoebe friendly. This is basically just where you're relaxing and the the raider attacks when they occur are very few and far between, and they usually have lower numbers of raiders. And then finally, Randy Random, which this is uh, is a little bit of everything. Now, you'll kind of notice where, like here it says Cassandra creates story events on a steadily increasing curve. Now, the the AI is considered a storyteller. There's really no story other than what you kind of create for yourself, what you do. You are the story. So it's not like there's a theme or a plot line going through the game. It's essentially just you are trying to survive. Basically, we just have these first five game modes to start off. If we click the advanced tab, we can choose the map size. We'll maybe choose one in the center, the map in the middle. So it's not tiny, but it's not super huge. So let's go to next. This is where we should be able to see our settlers. So here we have a commissar, a settler, and an oaf. Actually, this is not a bad way to start off the game. Um, the military commissars, as you can see, has a pretty good, pretty even spread of points. They're strongest in social and in shooting, so maybe they can be, our gun guy, for example. We also have a settler. Settlers usually have a very low social skill, but they're kind of like in a way a jack of all trades except for maybe research. But they can kind of do everything else. Now your character, like this character, should be able to uh, increase their social skills as they interact with the other characters in the game. But some characters, especially ones that land on the planet later, they can never actually get any better. And finally, we have an oaf, which they're the best for growing food. They also have a very low social skill. Um, let's see here, and let's see, their mining's pretty good. The settlers' mining's pretty good. Wolf, we should call him Worf. You can change the names. You can also randomize the characters. So if we click the randomize button, it'll, change the different types. Now, the Commissar, Settler, and Oaf, they're just different types. There's going to be scientists. I think there's doctors. Um, there's a bunch of different archetypes. But I think really, I'm kind of surprised we actually got kind of a good balance here right off to the start. So let's go ahead and click the start button and we will get started. And it'll take a moment to generate the world. Okay, the three of you awake in your long sleep sarcophagi to the sounds of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. A few hours later, you land on this unknown Rimworld. As a piece of the shredded starship falls around you, you start making plans to survive. All right, so I'm going to hit the space bar, and we should see our escape pods land here. Oh, let me unpause it. Boom, boom, boom. There's our three escape pods, and our little guys come out. So I'm going to hit the space bar again to pause the game, and you can hit that to pause and unpause. There's also a play button which increases time to like the normal. And then there's two higher speed or sped up just like 2 times or 3 times. We can actually zoom in and zoom out with our scroll bar or scroll wheel on our mouse. And you use the ASW keys to actually move around the map, so we can kind of, take a look and see where, see if there's any resources that we want to see. If we look at these dark areas here, like when I first started playing, I was watching videos of some other people playing this beta or this alpha or pre-alpha. I was kind of like, what the heck is all this stuff? This is actually kind of rock here and here. Originally I thought it was water, but no, it's not. And so we've got some sand, we've got some dirt here, and then this is kind of like the canyon walls in the area that we are in. Another thing too, if we zoom in here, you'll kind of see the difference in texture between like right up here, down here, and right like in this area. And we use the miners to mine out this. This is going to be our metal ore that we want to mine. We also have these little gray things here. These are just kind of rocks. They're kind of pointless. There's also some foliage and things like that which are not really usable. Oh, good. We actually have a geothermal vent right there, which we'll want to plop a geothermal generator on that. ASAP. There's also another one there. We also have some things like here's some metal. We can see there's 6 pieces of metal, and we can actually unflag that, and our guys will go and pick that up. This is food. We'll also do the same with that. So whenever we have like metals and things that need to be gone out and picked up, we want to go and search those out, especially early on in the game, because we will need those. I don't really think there's there's some food up here. Some more here. Some metal up there. No, I don't want a boom rat. There's also like these little boom rat guys. They look, well, there's a squirrel. I guess it's an alien squirrel. And then there's these boom rats. Now the boom rats are essentially like bombs, and so they will actually come into your camp, and when they get mad they will explode and do lots of damage. So it's best when you see them just to have your person with a good firearms skill, or if you need somebody to bring up their firearms skill, go out and hunt boom rats, because they will, the more of them that there are in an area, they will reproduce, and then they kind of get a little bit out of hand. So, yep. All right, so let's go ahead again, and we'll look at our different. Oh, I'm sorry, Worf. You're a female colonist and not a male colonist. Well, oops. Worf would not be pleased. He would be greatly dishonored. So let's see, we've got shooting 6. Okay, so right in front, you can actually see, I don't know if you can see, but there is a gun. Usually when you first start out, there's going to be a little gun laying here on the ground somewhere. So we're going to right click on the gun and we're going to tell her to equip the pistol. We also have some beds here. These are not really even beds, they're just sleeping areas. You do have to designate sleeping areas for all of your colonists. Otherwise, they will eventually go insane, and, well, you know how that can often turn out. Another thing that we will probably want to do is go down here to Architect at the bottom. Oh, let's see, needs, okay. We want to go down to architect, and we can actually look at different orders. Like you can add and remove a home zone, which we'll get to that in a little bit. You can tell your people to haul, mine things, sell, harvest plants. Though all harvesting plants does is really just kind of clear out these things like the cactuses and bushes and things. But you don't actually get any resources from those yet. There's also growing areas, dumping areas, and stockpile areas. Growing areas are essentially where you will choose a spot to plant. We'll they don't cost anything to make, but you know, you'll actually plant food there, and then the food will grow, and then you can use that the food matter in your matter replicators, and it'll actually make better food. The dumping area is for areas where you want to dump rocks or dead bodies or things like that. You can also use dumping areas to make artificial barricades and things. So you can actually, and you can pretty much place them anywhere as long as they're not over, you know, like a rock. You know, if we look here, you know, if when you're in between like a rock and the ground, obviously you can't place them there. But here we can see we can place them out in the desert and things. Let's see. The stockpile area is like this thing right here. Now the stockpile area doesn't ever really get filled, and you can kind of move the resources around and, you know, from one stockpile to the other without any penalty. So eventually, I will not want my stockpile out in the middle here. I'll want it somewhere like indoors, or you know, you can even put stockpiles in convenient places, maybe next to mines, where you know, it's more convenient for a guy to just, you know, walk a short distance instead of having to like walk, you know, way up here, mine something, and then walk way back, because it does take a long time to walk. Let's see here. Next is structure, and we've got power conduits, which is like your, you know, electric conduits. There's different types of paved tile, metal tile, concrete, and smooth stone. That's all flooring material. There are doors, walls, and sandbags. And sandbags are basically kind of like a waist-high um, barrier, which acts as cover, you know, during battles and things like that. And also, you can choose to sell different things. Next, we have buildings. There's graves, which I know isn't really a building, but graves are where you're going to, you know, bury your dead people. You can choose to bury your own people in graves and dispose of like raiders in the you know, the garbage areas like this guy here, or this, not guy, but this area. You can see our what is it called, dumping area, is right here. You can use mines later on. You can research mines and actually blow up a few mines, and it'll actually destroy the bodies, but it won't destroy things like, you know, the metal and you know, rock pieces and things like that. There's a nutrient paste dispenser. That is how your guys get food. Unfortunately, whoops. Unfortunately, they can't just go up. Well, they can just eat these raw little cupcakes that fall out of the sky. And I don't know what that's all about. I can't even really tell what they are. They look like little pieces of cornbread to me, or some type of biscuit. But yeah, beyond that, I have no idea. Um, we also have the comms console. This allows you to communicate with passing space vessels. We also have the solar generator, which obviously is going to produce power. Oh, and I think I forgot to mention the batteries. You do want to use batteries in conjunction with the solar generators, so you might want to build a bank of like 4 or 5 batteries, and then place a solar generator, you know, somewhat near them. That way, the any energy that they absorb or create will be stored in the batteries. You also want to do that with your geothermal generators too. Let's see, next we have security. For right now, we just have this auto turret. It's basically just a big gun. Um, you would think that it's a good idea to, build a base and put a bunch of auto turrets around it. I can tell you that is definitely not the best way to go. In the current build, in this first pre-alpha build, um, the amount of raiders that attack you are kind of currently based on how many auto turrets you have and how many colonists you have. So, like here, we only have 3 survivors or 3 colonists, and so, if we just put like 20 auto turrets around, we might end up getting 23 raiders, and then we'll get our butts handed to us. It's not pretty. I've tried it. And then last but not least, we have furniture. And so we have different things. We have an equipment rack. This is primarily used for storing weapons that you find off of dead raiders or trade. You can also trade for weapons. There's a short table. There's also a long table. I don't know why they have them in 2 different spaces. They have different lamps. They've got a sun lamp and a standing lamp. The standing lamp you're going to use more indoors for like just light, and we'll get to that. I don't know if we'll get to that this episode, but definitely in the next episode. Um, uh, the sun lamp, it's best to use these, like see where it says lights an area brightly enough to grow crops. You can actually plop some of these around, like let's say you wanted to do 4 fields here to grow crops, maybe put a sun lamp right in the middle, and it's going to accelerate the growth of those plants. It can also be used indoors if you want to make indoor fields, or you can even do some research, which we'll look at into hydroponics bays, and I think you can even use the sun lamps in those rooms. Um, let's see. Next, we have a research bench, which is quite large. We won't make it yet, but the research bench obviously is for conducting research, and you need to have somebody who is good at research to conduct the research, obviously. And not necessarily. I mean, you could have somebody with like a 0 skill in research, and they'll get better and better at it as they do more research. But the higher that skill level is, the faster that they're going to start out research, especially early on. A chair, this would be used with the tables so that, whoops, you can kind of see it's kind of small. And so your guys, once you build like a little cafeteria room or something like that for them, they'll go in and they'll sit down and have a little meal there. So that's kind of cool. We also have beds. You definitely want to upgrade from like these little sleeping areas, like you can see here, a sleeping spot, to a bed. You can see here the information on the left. It says it designates a spot on the ground where people should sleep, not comfortable. Rest effectiveness is 8 out of 10, where the bed is 10 out of 10. So it's basically just going to mean that your colonists recover more quickly. A plant spot. This is purely decorative, but it does affect the morale of your characters, of your colonists. And then last but not least is your drop beacon, and this is where traders will drop supplies and goods when you trade them. And otherwise, that you can if we wanted a drop beacon, we could put it out here somewhere. Otherwise, they might drop it way up in this corner, and then we have to run all the way up here to get it. So obviously, we don't want to do that. Let's see here on the overview screen, we can actually see an overview of all 3 of our colonists. We can also click to say, okay, these are what you are. These are the responsibilities that you are responsible for. Ha ha ha. And so like let's say right now we don't have a doctor. So we might want to actually go and might want to look at our character screens to see like medicine. So let's see, McClure is a 3, Worf is a 3, and okay, so everybody's a 3. Let's see, this is our oaf. Usually I have the oafs become like the medical person, so we can go back into overview and we can say, okay, well we want the oaf to be to the acting doctor. You can I'm not entirely sure why these boxes are darker than the other ones. Maybe because they're not. specialized in oh, because the social skill is 0. That might be why we don't have the option to become a warden or doctor. Now the settler, we can see here that we don't even get an option to allow them to become a warden or doctor. The commissar, since they're like they have a military background, will make them the warden. And for starting off, growing. Let's see, that's Norris. So we might not want him. Well, he could do mining pretty good, growing, plant cutting. Everybody's going to do hauling. We don't want anybody to do cleaning at first. We won't want them to do construction. Whoops. Let's see, it's Norris Ward. McClure is going to be on construction. Yeah, we definitely want that. Maybe the other guy too, since he's not going to really be up to much. And you always want everybody to be on firefighting. Now, another thing you're going to want to click on, and a lot of people don't mention this in their videos, is manual priorities. Now, these are going to always be the #1 priorities of your guys. I highly recommend making doctoring firefighting #1, doctoring #2. Um, since Norris is our main doctor, I'll make him #1. Um, if we've, whoops, closed out there. Like McClure is a settler, and we can see like all his skills, growing, construction, mining are all about the same. So we might not want him on growing. So we're gonna just take that off so it doesn't have a priority. So that literally means like if there's nothing else for him to do, then he'll go grow. Um, where the other two, we don't need the commissar growing anything either. But like, let's see here, see shooting. Actually, she's better than at shooting than, or he is better than Worf is at shooting, and he's just a oaf. Oh wait, it says a vat-grown soldier, so okay, whatever, whatevs. But you can actually set the priority of different things. Like, like so let's say we have one person and we want them to be a hauler. We want them to just haul stuff. So maybe we'll put them on hauling like #2. So as long as there's no fires, they're going to go and haul stuff primarily. And then it'll go down from there. So mining, we usually want pretty high, and then construction, we want pretty high for our constructors. So I apologize that the video has been kind of boring. We're not getting into any action, but you can kind of see a really good overview, I think, of what the game is about. Next, we have research. Right now, there's nothing researched. This is all there is to research. There's only these 7 items. Hydroponics, pneumatic picks, nutrient synthesis, gun turret cooling. That allows your gun turrets to fire faster. Blasting charges, that's something that I do want researched early on. And then carpet making, which increases the morale of your people when you put carpet down in their buildings and rooms. And then fear tech, this is I'm not really sure exactly what fear tech is. I think it has something to do with inspiring fear amongst your colonists, and apparently I guess it helps keep them in line a little bit better. All right, so let's see. I think we're going to have McClure just get started by... Oh, I got to go down here to orders and mine. And we'll just have him mine all this. And in the meantime, you can see that they're picking up things. Norris is going over here and starting to plant some things there. McClure is going down to start his mining. And actually, if we if we take a look at McClure, we can see his mining skills already starting to increase. So the more that he mines, the faster his skills in mining will increase. And now Worf is coming down to pick up the extra stuff there. Another thing that we need to do right off the bat is we need to build 3 things. Let's see here. We're going to build a battery. We're going to build a solar generator. And we're going to build a nutrient paste dispenser. And oh, you can hit the Q and E keys to rotate your things here. So I'm going to put that there for right now. The next thing I want to do is, we need to do the power conduits between everything. And there we go. And then if we look in our stores up here at the top, we've got, how much money we have, how much food, and how much metal. And so the metal will be used in whenever you plop down an object or build something, that is going to be deducted from how much metal you have. And it looks like where did Worf go? Okay, he's up there picking up food, bringing it back. Good Worf. Your behavior is most honorable. La 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 la. Okay, so now we have our nutrient paste machine. Now we can actually select it with the left click because nobody's hungry right now, but it's going to consume power. So we can actually turn it off. It's not going to consume any power. It's going to store some additional power, and you'll actually see the battery here will begin to increase. Now, this little guy, this little boom rat's got me kind of worried. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to conscript. That's what these little swords are for. You draft your guy, and then you can actually tell him, I want to shoot this rat here. Whoops. Fire at boom rat. And when you... There we go. And so he's going to fire. You might tell him to move a little bit closer, not too close. And you have to redo the commands. I do think that the combat commands are a little bit difficult right now. Oh, and we can also see, okay, he's only got one hit point left, so he's got... Come on, hit him. There we go. Now you can see how the boom rat just exploded there. Which is, you don't want that to happen when you're near colonists because they will die. Okay, so now Worf, I guess, is, a little bit hungry. You have to look at his needs. So yeah, his food is going down there. So he's got needs. He's got needs. I don't know what McClure and Norris are doing. Oh, they need food also. I should have turned this back on. But anyway, they'll go up here, they'll eat some food, and all will be right with the world. Worf, he's good to go, but he's probably gonna want to rest here pretty soon, and now he's gonna go back and start carrying in all this metal, which is exactly what we want him to do. Our battery's going up there, which is good. I don't know why our stored capacity is decreasing because... Oh, that's on. Derp. Okay, now our stored capacity is... Okay. So now all of our guys went to sleep, and Worf apparently has a boom rat right on top of his head. Now the boom rats do go crazy from time to time, and they will attack and they will blow up. And so you don't want that to happen. Generally, that's not going to happen early on in the game. I will say generally because sometimes it does. So we are just recovering kind of here from our first night here. So we're going to go. It's now day 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the episode. And, if you still are interested to see where McClure, Worf, and Norris go, stop back in the next episode. Again, this is Rimworld. Uh, you can actually go to www.rimworldgame.com to buy it. They are eventually going to release a Steam key for it. Uh, if you purchase at a certain level, but it is a pre-alpha, so it is a very unfinished game. But this reminds me of like a game that I kind of used to play with pencil and paper with some friends back when I was, like in the third grade or something like that. And so when I saw it, I'm like, this is kind of interesting. And so far, I like it. I definitely like where it's going. So, I'm looking forward to seeing where we're gonna go. Apparently, right now it's mid-January, and we are supposed to get a new major patch before the end of the month. This will be the first major update since they've gone to like this, public pre-alpha availability of the game. And to their credit, they have they have raised, and I'm just looking at their website right now. They've raised just under $550,000. So, they're halfway to $1 million. So that's great. And, to see like little indie games like this get the kind of support, I'll even look at the little shadows on all the cactuses and things. I never really noticed that before. Well, anyway, to see that kind of support for, indie games is really awesome. I think we're kind of seeing, we're seeing things like that progress here in the last year where developers are trying to get people involved with the game during the beta process, getting money early on as a way to finance their game. So that's super awesome. So I'm just, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing where RimWorld goes. And, if you like the game, definitely check it out, pick it up, and, enjoy it like I am. So, guys, thanks again for watching. This is RimWorld. I am Brad M73. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and we will hopefully see you in the next episode. Bye for now.